Kemi Badenoch has vowed to make immigrants wait 10 years, double the current amount before they can apply to stay here permanently, and then a further 5 years before they can seek citizenship. And she says that if they claim welfare or use social housing or fail to contribute to the UK economy during the first 10 years, they will be blacklisted.
Hi everyone, I'm here to explain to you guys in details what this lady is actually talking about, the leader of a conservative party in the UK, Kemi Badenoch. Kemi Badenoch. So first, let me quote her. What she said recently in regards to immigration, cracking down on immigration and making things harder for immigrants in the UK, both those who are here already and those who also want to come to the UK in the future. So she wants to make life a living hell for UK immigrants. Because she herself, she's an immigrant, so but maybe because she's now got a British passport, so she now sees herself that she has escaped from hell, so she's now in heaven. So I'll quote Kemi Badenoch. So this is not from me, this is direct from Kemi Badenoch. So I will read to you exactly what she said. So, Britain is a home, it's not a hotel. It's time to tell the truth on immigration and propose real plans to do something about it. I want to reduce immigration and make living here actually mean something. We need to change the way our immigration system works. So I'm announcing that the Conservative Party is going to do the following things differently. 1. If you want to stay in our country permanently and apply for indefinite leave to remain, the time you have to live here before you apply will increase from 5 years to 10 years. 2. You have to be a net contributor with a high enough salary, especially if you want to bring family members with you. And if you've got a criminal record, you are banned. 3. If you've claimed benefits or need social housing, you can't even apply. 4. We will increase the time before you can apply for British passport from 12 months to 5 years, meaning it will take a minimum of 15 years to start an application. 5. If you enter this country illegally or outstay your visa, you will be banned from ever getting leave to remain or a passport. These changes, on top of a strict numerical cap on numbers, will constitute the most robust changes ever made to our immigration system. Lower numbers, secure borders, and immigration system that finally works for the British.
Let's get into our next topic. Should migrants on benefits be stopped from becoming UK citizens? First new policy as Tory leader. Kemi Badenoch has vowed to make immigrants wait 10 years, double the current amount before they can apply to stay here permanently, and then a further 5 years before they can seek citizenship. And she says that if they claim welfare or use social housing or fail to contribute to the UK economy during the first 10 years, they will be blacklisted. She wants to bring in rules to prevent people who come illegally or overstay their visas from being allowed here permanently. So let's have a listen to a bit more of what she had to say in her interview with the BBC's Chris Mason.
It's the right thing to do. It's the right
That's
thing to
just a
do.
hunch.
No. I know it is the right thing to do. It is because we have been giving out leave to remain and citizenship that we now cannot sustain our public services. Not enough housing to go around. People can't get a GP appointment. And what I find is that every time I'm talking about how we need to bring migration numbers down, we always focus on the edge case of, well, how exactly will this bit have an impact and so on. And we create almost a chilling effect of doing anything at all because it's all too difficult. This is how we've got into this mess in the first place, in my view.
So there she is, Kemi Badenoch. It's taken quite a while to get the first policy out of her, actually. I mean, she's been leader for a while. So what do you think, James? Do you like this?
I would say, is that the best that she could do for her first policy? So I think we all recognise, left, right, middle, that immigration has been problematic in this country. I think we've had poor conversation in respect of legal migration, illegal migration. I don't think that much has been done to stop the boats. If you have a look at the numbers, another 400 in the last week, you know, all of that stuff, we haven't really been focusing on the tremendous cost of all of this. And when you hear a policy like that, 5 years and all the various changes that they made back when they were in power were pretty difficult. That is not the problem. So what you've got is you've got Kemi Badenoch, who's doubling down on a policy that was pretty tough already, and that's not the problem. As opposed to, well, why has the door been open for legal and illegal migration? What are the issues that we're going to tackle? And what are the policies that people are going to buy into? And finally, all I would say is that I think she's trying to somehow use her university style of debating to come up with something to look as if she's being as tough as Reform or as populist as Reform in order to try and get some of their votes. It's not going to work. She's going to have to do better than that.
OK, what do you think, Carolyn?
I'd say 14 years of Conservative rule, they had ample opportunity to do this. Instead, they came up with a ludicrous Rwanda scheme that cost absolutely millions. And James is perfectly right. She's trying to get back the voters who left the Conservative Party and went to Reform. And if this is the best she should come up with, well, back to the drawing board, love.
What is the Labour plan on it?
Well, we've been in power for 6 months. We're still trying to clear up the mess that we've inherited from the Tory government. But the stuff that she talks about...
Is there a plan, though?
Well, yeah, the Home Secretary will have a plan. She hasn't discussed it with me, strangely enough. But I mean,
to keep migration down.
But what Kemi Badenoch is saying about not giving people any money to live on, currently people who haven't got right to remain, they are paid out of the NAS money, which comes from the Home Office. They don't claim benefits. They're not entitled to claim benefits.
We had a story saying they were giving money for new clothes the other day.
Well, if they have not got status, then they are very limited to what they have.
Maybe, James,
I don't deny there's a problem with immigration. What I do
James,
think
let's not range too far. Let's just stick on this idea. But Kemi Badenoch saying it is Badenoch. I've said Badenoch for...
It's Badenoch.
Oh, I've got into a bad habit. Yeah, it's Badenoch for sure. So she is saying that if you are a migrant, you move here, you may be working, but if at some point you dip into, you need to have social support or you have a council house, you will then not be allowed UK citizenship. So it's quite tough. Jean in Dorset, is it tough enough or too tough?
My question, Jeremy, is why are they claiming benefits as it is? We need people to come here and work and contribute to our society, not ultimately to be handed British citizenship as a reward.
Okay.
I used to work as a benefits advisor for a national charity in an inner city office. And I can tell you the things I saw and heard there in terms of benefit claimants in general, but in particular from immigrant population, would be enough to make your hair curl.
Well, so I'm thinking you must have been Citizens Advice or something like that. So you're a resource for people to come and ask you questions. And what they're just basically finding new ways of claiming things, are they?
Oh, no, please. I'd love someone to do a documentary, a fly-on-the-wall documentary in an inner-city office. No, they would not come and ask questions. They would come with a shopping list. And I actually cut my teeth when I was doing my benefits training. I learned probably more from the migrants coming in with their benefits shopping lists than I did from my mentor.
OK, well, and when you say shopping list, I mean, I can't just go into some government office and say I'd like to claim for invalidity benefit, for example, can't do that. How is it working, having a shopping list? How does that get them anywhere?
Well, I'm talking about a passport benefit, which will lead to other benefits, which at the time they knew about and I didn't because I was training.
Wow, this is terrible. So the passport benefit is something like universal credit, is it? Or is it a pension credit maybe even?
Well, no, you take pension credit. If you claim pension credit, that will give you eligibility to other benefits, like the winter fuel allowance.
But you've got, sure, I understand that's a passport benefit, but you won't get that if you're 35, will you? So that's not, you can see through that, can't you?
No, but in terms of that particular genre of people, a typical scenario would be better off calculations. If I work 16 hours a week and only 16 hours a week, what does that entitle me to? Yeah,
I see. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jean. It's a bit hair-raising, isn't it? The benefit system is just being worked.
But a system will always be worked.
Well, yeah,
and I think you have to take
come
account
on.
of the fact. Yeah, no. And this is
you can't be that complacent about it.
Some of the articles which are written tend to focus on where the system has gone wrong or something is not working. But we do have a system where, people game it.
Right. Yeah, well, clearly, Martin in Surrey, hello.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen.
Do you think Kemi Badenoch is up the right street here?
It's too late. It's closing the stable door after the horse has bolted. Jean from Dorset summed it up perfectly.
Well, concerning, the idea that the benefit system is like a casino.
People, these so-called asylum seekers who are fleeing persecution, they're all young men in their 20s and 30s. They trample to death young children in France on the boats. They have no care for a kid who dies in that dinghy. Now, and also, when they arrive here, as Jean said, they know exactly what they're entitled to. They go to the front of the housing list. They do. And don't let anyone tell you they don't because they do.
Is that right, Carolyn?
No, I don't think it is right. I mean, every local authority will, and housing providers across the country will have contracts with the Home Office to provide a percentage of housing, but that housing does not come out of the mainstream stock, which is for you or I to get housing.
Yeah, but if you arrive as a migrant with a young child, you will go ahead of somebody.
But it would be ahead of another migrant.
Yeah, but this is the point. We are spending
most
billions
of it in hotels.
We are spending billions of pounds a year that if you arrive on a small boat and if you are in that queue, then you are entitled to certain money, certain benefits, certain support until you've been processed. And those
not
people,
state benefit.
I call it what you like. It's your and my money.
It's a lot less.
It's your. I don't care whether it's a lot less or not. It's your and my money costing us, the nation, a fortune.
But the alternative is to have people living on the streets,
or to send them back from where they came from,
committing crime. I mean, have you ever been to Europe? I mean, the lucky men, and seen all these people selling handbags and whatever. We haven't got that, thankfully.
Well done, the EU, for creating.
They've got to live off something.
Well done, the EU, for creating Schengen, for creating freedom of movement to people, for creating this problem, and well done for Tony Blair opening the door and all the Conservative leaders leaving it open. I'm sorry, we've ended up.
Who said all this nonsense will favour the British? Yeah. So who says all this will change the British? Okay, I will explain this in details for those who don't understand what Kemi Badenoch actually meant. So now, number one, I'll start with the number one, which is extended residency requirements, increasing the duration. Migrants must reside in the UK before applying for indefinite leave to remain from 5 years to 10 years. So what this explains is, let's say you come into the UK via sponsorship, like work sponsorship, which is normally a 5 years visa. So when you enter the UK, you get your BRP, which means biometric resident permit, okay, which allows you to be in the UK for 5 years. And after 5 years, you can then apply for indefinite leave to remain, also known as ILR. All right. So, and or maybe, okay, I will explain this before I go further. So now, what Badenoch or Kemi Badenoch wants to do is, instead of these 5 years now, you will then have to stay for 10 years. So it's not just about staying for 10 years. Let me explain what this could cost to people. This is a modern day slavery. This is what Kemi Badenoch wants to bring. She's advocating for a modern day slavery. That's exactly what it is, because you come to the UK and you stay for 5 years. You came through a work visa, and most times people who apply you from abroad, they don't pay well. You see, people who come here on a work visa, they feed from hand to mouth, because even the NHS, they're not paying great. Imagine somebody earning 24,000 a year with this high inflation. After house rent and all that, probably £1,000 or the 1,200 for house rent and all that bills in the house, and you've left with a little to feed for yourself. So you see people taking extra shifts. I'm now talking about the NHS. So imagine other companies, they don't even pay up to this amount, to be honest. So now, so they want you to stay under this for 10 good years before you can have freedom, because this is when you're working with these people, when they bring you, you don't have freedom. They make life miserable for you. They make life a living hell for you, and you don't have any choice. Most of them don't have any choice. They have to abide by the rules. All right, they have to, like, even though it's not favorable to them, they have to pay this for 5 years before they can actually have their freedom. You see, so a lot of these people, when it's these 5 years they have their freedom, they now can breathe. They have breath of life. You understand? So this is what Kemi wants to cause to people, to immigrants like her, because she herself, she's an immigrant. So this is now what she wants to do. So instead of you to stay here for 5 years and have your freedom, and then probably look for something better, or maybe look for a different career, move to a different career. You can't do that now for after 5 years. It has to be 10 years, 10 good years before you can do this. So I hope you understand what this lady is trying to do. So number two, quickly, number two, economic contribution criteria. Applicants must be net contributors to the economy, earning a sufficient salary, particularly if they wish to bring family members to the UK. Individuals with criminal records will be prohibited from applying. So now, let's not talk about criminal records. That's not even, we cannot even argue about that. So why are you having criminal record for? All right. So now, to be a net contributor, I don't know, she hasn't said how much it's going to be. So now, I don't know exactly how much she's proposing for your, I mean, in regards to your salary, how much you should be earning before you can apply. So here she said, applicants must be net contributors to the economy, earning a sufficient salary, particularly if they wish to bring family members to the UK. So now, what I want to, okay, maybe I'll explain first, then I'll tell you what I think she needs to do, okay? So now what she's saying is that you have to be able to be earning a particular amount of money as your salary, as your take-home salary. or as your net salary, then out of that net salary, you have to pay a certain amount for your tax, right? Okay. So, but she hasn't mentioned exactly how much you must earn before you can apply. But what I want to tell Kemi Badenoch is, before implementing this, please make sure that every employers, including the NHS, have to be able to pay people that amount you want people to earn before they can apply for stay or British citizenship. All right. So if it is 30,000, make sure NHS or other organizations, other employers pay people, both private employers, make sure they pay people who they are employing up to this amount or even more than this amount you are proposing, so they won't have any issue applying for British citizenship or indefinite leave to remain. So now we jump into the number 3. The number 3, restrictions based on public resource usage. Migrants who have claimed benefits or require social housing will be ineligible to apply for a permanent residency. So now so what this means is that if you have lived in this country, or maybe you have your leave to remain, or you have your indefinite leave to remain, or whatever, and you have claimed benefits or social housing, any sort of benefit or social housing, then you cannot be a British citizen. Okay. This is what it means. I want to tell Kemi, if that is the case, please, if you don't have a British citizenship, make it that people don't have to pay for tax. They don't have to pay tax until they become citizens of the UK. Okay? Yes, because this does not make sense in any way. It just does not make any sense. People now, a lot of, I know people who has developed a mental health problem because of the pressure at work. They couldn't cope anymore and all of that. At the end of the day, you don't want them to be helped. How would they be helped if they don't get benefits? Because they work and pay tax, they contribute to the economy of the UK, and now you don't want them to get a benefit. That is cruel. All right, that is cruel. So we need to yeah. So Kemi, if you are that policy will have to go along with this. If you are not a British citizenship, you cannot pay tax. All right, you cannot pay tax. So you just work, no problems, no tax, no NI, national insurance contribution. So just work, get your money until you become a British citizenship, because this is when then you can claim a benefit. This is when you can then pay tax. All right, when you can when you can collect benefits, that should be when you should be able to pay tax. All right, so we jump into the number 4, I think. Yeah, number 4. So extended path to citizenship. After obtaining indefinite leave to remain, migrants will need to wait an additional 5 years before applying for British citizenship. Okay, making the total period from 15 to 15 years. So what this is, like I explained earlier, when you come to the UK and maybe you have a work visa, or you've been here, not just work visa, there are other routes to stay in the UK, but I'm just using work visa for example. So you come here with a work visa, which is 5 years, and you work for that particular organization that brought you to the UK for 5 years, minimum of 5 years, for you to be able to then apply for ILR, which indefinite leave to remain. So this means that you do not depend on anyone anymore. The company or the employer, the organization, you do not depend on them to be in the UK when you get your indefinite leave to remain. So now she wants it to be 10 years, all right? So normally what it is 5 years, but now she extended it. She wants it extended to 10 years, all right? Now, once you get it after that 10 years, now you have to stay extra 5 years to be able to apply for British citizenship. So how it works is, after 5 years, you have to stay extra 12 months after you get your indefinite leave to remain. You have to be in the UK for additional 12 years. Additional 12 months. 12 months. You have to be in the UK for you to be qualified or to be eligible to apply for British citizenship. And mind you, applying for British citizenship is not free. It's not given for free. You are paying for it, and you're paying a huge amount of money, which adds value to the British economy or the UK economy. All right, so it is not given for free. I'm just reminding you, Kemi Badenoch. All right, it's not for free. They don't give it for free. People pay a huge amount of money. Not just that, even the indefinite leave to remain, they pay a huge amount of money. The other day I was speaking to a lady who, I think she have to pay. She's got a child. She'll have to pay for the child, which is about 1,300, 1,400 or 5 thereabout, and she have to pay for herself 1,800 for indefinite leave to remain. So now that's over £3,000 for both of them. And so if you have a family of 3, a family of 2, family of 4, 5, this is how it is. Some people pay up to £10,000 for indefinite leave to remain. So that's a lot of money. If you calculate hundreds or thousands of people who put in application every day, that's a lot of money coming into the UK economy. So I will move quickly into the number 5 here. Zero tolerance for illegal entry. Okay, individuals who enter the UK illegally or overstay their visas will be permanently banned from obtaining leave to remain or citizenship. So now what this is there are routes to becoming a resident in the UK. There are people who are here probably through channels, through illegal ways and all that. So at the end of the day, they apply for stay and all that. So, but now she wants to cut all this. She wants to take a lot of things away from immigrants. Like now, if you've overstayed, someone, maybe you came on a visit visa or other visas, tourism visa and other visas, and you came to the UK, something happened, maybe where you're coming from, you know that life will become unbearable for you, or maybe your life is being threatened and all of that. So many things, I can't mention them here, and you feel safer in the UK and you don't want to go back there anymore. Now, what Kemi is saying is that you cannot apply anymore to stay in the UK. So you have to go back, even though if they're going to unalive you. I don't want to use the word, I don't want to use that word here. Even if they want to unalive you where you're coming from, you have to go back to them, or you have to go back there. So it doesn't matter whatever is going to happen to you. Maybe you came here, like I've seen a lot of people who came here to study and all of that during the process, and they became either physically or mentally unstable, and at the end of the day, they want to stay here. Maybe when they became well, they want to live here. You cannot live here anymore. So this is what Kemi Badenoch is Kemi Badenoch. Sorry, not bad luck. But yeah, she's bringing bad luck to a lot of immigrants here in the UK, and those who want to come. And honestly, I hope I know she's not alone on this. She's not alone. There are people who is actually pushing her. Yeah, this is an agenda, probably from the far right group, pushing her to do all these things. Let me have a look. Is that all before I make? Additionally, the party plans to implement a strict numerical cap on immigration numbers, aiming for lower numbers, secure borders, and immigration system that serves the interests of the British people. So I want to tell you, Kemi, this does not serve the interests of the British people. This serves the interests of you and that group that is pushing this agenda, this immigration agenda, because this is all you just speak about: immigration this, immigrant that, immigrant. This is not for the British people, because this country, the UK, is built by immigrants. All right, we see this every day. Our NHS, farm, mention it. Is it what's it called? Care sector, care homes, factory. Yeah, factory. So these places, who occupies them is the immigrants, the British or the Irish, the English, Welsh, Northern, the Irish. They cannot do this alone. They need immigrants to assist, and immigrants bring a lot to the economy of the UK. All right, so if you bring how much the immigrants has put into the economy, those coming, both the flight tickets, application fees, people are being ripped off in the UK. For you to get visa, for you to get a stay, for you to get anything is a huge loss of money. You don't do this in other places. You don't pay this heavily in other parts of Europe. Okay, so Kemi, this is not for the British people. This is for you and for your group. And this group who is pushing you, I know they don't mean well to you. They don't mean well for you, because they know you are also an immigrant. You were fortunate to come here with your parents. Your parents are also immigrants. All right, so you're fortunate to be in the politics, and probably they push you to be the leader of a conservative party, because they want to push their agenda, which they were unable to push through during Rishi Sunak era or Boris Johnson era. They want to use you to push this agenda. You need to retract your step. You need to rediscover who you are. You are an immigrant. Do not see yourself as a white woman, because most definitely you are not. You are not English. you're not Irish, you're not Welsh or Scottish, you are an immigrant. You are from Nigeria. Nigeria is not England. So what's your problem? You need to retract from your steps, because they don't mean well for you and even for the British people.